All right, let's go from a guy who has said goodbye to the NFL to somebody who is saying hello to the NFL, and that's Justin Fields. He is having his second pro day, Greg, this week, and it's been fascinating to watch the pundits talk about Fields. In the beginning, he was seen as a can't-miss top 3 or 4 kind of guy in this draft. Then all of a sudden, we had him start to fall, supposedly, and people were saying, well, he might get to New England at 15. And now it seems like over the past week or so, the stock has started to go up again because I think people are realizing, like, wait a minute, maybe we talked too down on this guy. A lot of fluctuating with where he's going to go and where, what he could be in the league. Your thoughts on his second pro day coming up, and really your thoughts on him as a quarterback at the next level.
Yeah, so in conversations with people this week, I was trying to gauge what the significance was of the Patriots, and who knows what the final numbers will be. But there was a report that the 49ers and Patriots were the only teams, I think, in the past couple of days, that were going to be the only teams at his pro day. And of course, that kind of information, like, gets the draft industrial complex like buzzing and like it means something. And I asked about it. Look, they Josh McDaniels will be at Ohio State. He was at Alabama when Ohio State had their other pro day. He couldn't be in 2 places at once. You're only allowed. All of this stuff is significant in terms of, there's a lot of debate about, Bill Belichick's not here, he's not there, blah, blah, blah. You only get 3 people at any pro day. That's it. So sometimes you need somebody to go there and do a bunch of work on these players, and maybe it's not the best place for Belichick or the offensive coordinator, but there's not much else on the plate. They've done Ohio State. They've scouted the rest of the guys at the other pro day. They had people there. Now they're sending McDaniels. I don't know who else is going. I don't think it's overly significant. I think they're doing their due diligence. And in terms of Justin Fields overall, I think that in ever evolving conversations with people around the NFL and around the Patriots, what's interesting is you talk to some people, like, say, the Eagles tracked, and this is how they ended up with Jalen Hurts, which was they were high on Russell Wilson, but decided not to go that route. They thought where he went, I think in the 3rd round, was a little bit too high for them, and they regretted it. And they saw, like, sort of that athletic, stocky, well-built guy, that there's some upside there because they can make plays while they're still learning the nuances of the position. And so they didn't make that same mistake with Jalen Hurts. And I thought maybe the Patriots would be of the same mindset. And I don't think that they are. I think that they look at the quarterback position and grade it, very traditionally. And in terms of where is this player today? Where can they be? And like Mike Lombardi said on his podcast when he read out those descriptions, where it says, like, basically to be drafted where the Patriots are picking or higher, this player has to be a top 10 player at their position.
Right.
And I don't think they see the mobile guys, unless they do think that they're highly polished. I don't think that they think the mobility guys, just because they can make plays with their legs to extend plays, they don't necessarily grade them any higher. It solely has to do about how they are from the pocket. Can they make throws when the game's on the line? And to me, I don't think they think Justin Fields or Trey Lance is worthy of, say, a top half of the 1st round pick. I think there's very few prospects that they had that grade on in terms of the quarterbacks. 2, maybe 3 in this draft. I think, in my personal opinion, I don't have any inside knowledge on this. I think Mac Jones would be a 3rd guy for them that they would think, just because of what he's done and what he's done in Alabama and how smart he is. So the Justin Fields thing is a nice story, and who knows, maybe they think he's worthy of the 20th pick. I don't know. but I wouldn't put any huge significance. I saw some stories like, and I think, our guy, Jerry over at Barstool had a blog post that said like, oh, well, now, the likeliness of the Patriots trading up is increasing by the day. I'm not ready to go there yet. Jerry might be right. Jerry knows a lot of things, but in my opinion, I think this is due diligence and looking not only to complete their evaluation for now, but also down the road, should these players become available. I will say that the Patriots have studied the quarterbacks this year like never before, but that's not just like the top of the draft. That's all the way through the draft.
Right.
They're doing a lot of work on the quarterback. So I don't think this is overly significant.
I will say you've been very consistent. Whether you end up being right or wrong, I don't know, but you've been very consistent talking about the quarterbacks and this draft. You've been a wet blanket for the people hoping that there will be a big dramatic move up the board. And, the Patriots will be there in the 4th spot and they'll draft Justin. You've been the wet blanket from the beginning about that scenario. You've said the entire time, listen, maybe they draft somebody late in the 1st round, possibly, maybe they move back, maybe they move back in and draft somebody late 1st round at that position. But you've mentioned the guys like Davis Mills. You've mentioned the guys like Kellen Mond and said, hey, it's probably more likely the Patriots, when they draft a quarterback in a few weeks, it's likely to be those guys and not what a lot of dream scenarios for fans are currently. So you've been very consistent. Again, we'll see if that plays out the way you've been talking about it.